Hello everybody, I'm Krasia Tasio and this is the week for the 12 Ascendants when I will be giving overview on each of the 12 Ascendants and what to expect from the sky so that you can plan easily your weekly, daily activities. Now the timestamps for each of the zodiacal signs are under this video. Just to make a brief overview, now the week is starting on the 4th of November, Monday, and it will be the 6th lunar day. And what is interesting to say is that this month, the lunar month, started 6 days ago and started with the moon, which did not complete her cycle, and with this the month in general is not very harmonious. However, we're out of this. We're already the dangerous square between the exact squares between Mars and Saturn is away. So this week is certainly not dangerous as the last week was, because last week we had a very tense square to a degree exact between Mars and Saturn, the two malefic planets, and this certainly was tension on the sky, and it manifested differently for the people also on Earth. Now this week is not dangerous but also not very harmonious, because the Sun is in Libra, place of detriment of the Sun, where the Sun is not giving its full powers. Also Venus is in the sign of Scorpio, where Venus is also against her own sign, not really giving her natural, easy, full blessing. In Scorpio, the nature of Venus is very different. She's visible now. We spoke about this. She was invisible for quite some time, and now Venus is visible in the sign of Scorpio, but her nature is more into very deep feelings, very introvert, very much like Aphrodite, of love, of deep feelings, very deep, and very much about philosophy, psychology, intuitive feelings on a very deep intrinsic level. And Venus is meeting Mercury and Jupiter there, and as you can see, Mercury is also in the sign of Scorpio. Mercury is retrograde but also peregrine without any specific dignities. So you can see quite disharmonious. Not the planets are not in their own places of dignities, and also you can see Mars. The same is valid for Mars in the sign of Virgo, and the week is starting with the moon detriment in the sign of Capricorn. So the week is not so harmonious, but it's certainly not dangerous. So I would say in general that the week is not very appropriate for new beginnings, but can be very appropriate to organize the routine, environment, communication with subordinates, organizing our jobs, organizing plans, so studies. So for this, the week will be appropriate, but really not very much for new beginnings, and it is good to know that. And yes, it is not dangerous, because last week really this square which we had exact to a degree between Saturn and Mars was tense and was not to underestimate, and maybe some people already felt its tension. So this was my brief overview, and I'm starting now with the sign of Aries. So Aries, for you, your ascendant ruler is in the 6th house, with which we have emphasis on your routine work, on relationship with subordinates, on your work environment, on possible conflicts which you need to calculate and try to stay to keep distance from. Like really, you use your intuition, diplomatic skills to stay away from conflicts and trouble, and so that you have harmonious routine environment. The Sun is also on your 7th house, emphasizing on your relationships, and Mars and Mercury and Venus are just around it. So this is emphasizing very much on your relationships in general, on your romantic life, where you may be experiencing a lot, or the energies that are quite a lot and tense. So that is where routine environment, relationship with subordinates, keep healthy lifestyle as much as you can. This week you may travel, you may negotiate, but it's really good that you be very diplomatic and think twice before negotiating and communicating. And the week is not appropriate for new beginnings. It is good that you concentrate your energies and efforts for keeping harmonious your routine environment. And yes, the week is very nice for studying, for concentrating efforts on studies, on completing studies, not on initiating new studies. Even though the moon is waxing, still I would say it is better really to to try to complete and organize your routine daily environment and your studies, relationships. Apart from that, as I said, you may travel, you may negotiate. So this was for Aries, and now we will talk about Taurus ascendant. Now your ascendant ruler is on your 7th house, and with Mercury and with Jupiter, and this is really emphasis on your relationship romantically and also relationships in general, because actually this is I see it, even though the moon, your ascendant ruler, is against his own place, I see this as something very good, and the energies that are about relationships, romantic relationship, are very good, and they can create some very good creative environment, opportunities to communicate, to fix issues if you had such. So it is a very good conjunction of 3 planets, even though Jupiter is already leaving. So the retrograde Mercury with Venus and with Jupiter, even though they're in Scorpio on your 7th house, they're showing that a lot can be happening when it comes to relationships, romantic life, and this is for good. This week you may travel, you may negotiate. A little bit too much can be happening on romantic level indeed, so there you may need to be a bit diplomatic, loving, patient. And yes, you may travel, you may negotiate a little bit. In terms of health, the week looks fine for me, and yes, not very appropriate for new beginnings and new initiatives. Very appropriate to complete what you've already done, like what you've already started, like really completing with discipline, with good planning, with very rational thinking. And also the week is so that you may need to be still a little bit cautious, and when it comes to children, their behavior, the way you communicate with them. So this is mainly the thing. New beginnings, as I said, no more. It is more, even though the moon is waxing, it is more about organizing your routine life. So this was about Taurus, and now we're looking at Gemini. Now for you, your ascendant ruler, Gemini ascendant, is together with Venus, with Jupiter, all on your 6th house, and they're emphasizing on your 6th house, on your routine environment, on communication with subordinates, on your exactly on this is bringing creativity and very good energies into your routine environment where a lot can be happening. Maybe there you have a lot of things already taking place. So this is the week is emphasizing on this, on your colleagues, subordinates, health for good, creativity brought into your routine life and environment for good. Like a lot will be happening which will result in something good. Now you are already, the dangerous aspect between Mars and Saturn for you is already behind your back, but still Mars is on your 4th house, and still he's saying that you may need to be patient and diplomatic when communicated with subordinates, also at home, and also relationships and partnerships. These are the areas where you may need to be still cautious. You may travel, you may negotiate, but as I said, the week is not very harmonious, so you may not you may not expect really great results. To maintain the routine environment at work is fine. For health is good, for maintaining studies, and creative work and studies and bringing a lot of creativity into your life, the week will be really wonderful. And also, as I said, travel, negotiate you can, but not with such great results. So the week is much better, as you can see, than the week before, and it will be wonderful once Jupiter enters your descendant on Sunday. Just have a bit of patience. This will be already a relief. And then on January, you will have really reason to celebrate once Saturn moves away from your descendant. So this was about Gemini, and now we're looking into Cancer ascendant. Now for you, this interesting conjunction of planets is happening on your 5th house, the house of love, children, creativity, creative studies, joy, pleasure. So it's all wonderful and very lucky. And your 5th house, in general, the 5th house is called the house of the good fortune. So it's quite lucky, can be lucky in terms of opportunities, in terms of finances. So this is very good for your week. Be a bit cautious still when it comes to subordinates, work environment, but financially the week will be lucky for you. When it comes to relationship with children as well, pleasure, lucky financial opportunities, the week will be fine. When it comes to travel and negotiations, the week is not the most appropriate. The week is more for maintaining the routine and not really so much for starting new initiatives and new beginnings. So I see the week as quite good and quite lucky for you, but again, don't forget to be really to be alert and awake, and to keep in mind that your routine environment is still where Saturn is, and also it's good that you to be responsible for your health still. So I see it as luckier for sure than the previous week for you. And yes, so this was about Cancer rising, and now we're looking at Leo rising. Now for you, your ascendant ruler is detriment, not really at its best, in the sign of Libra. But actually, I was thinking that the sun can never be detriment. The sun just changes nature and energies. So in the sign of Libra, actually, exactly this week, starting with your ascendant ruler with the star of Gemma, can be something very creative, very nice, can bring opportunities coming from abroad, or can give good opportunities for communication. However, the sun is just between Mars and retrograde Mercury and Venus, so I would say communication work, new initiatives are not very, very appropriate this week for you. Also, when you will be traveling, you may but be very well prepared. And also, because the sun is like a little bit stuck, between Mars and Mercury, plan very well your negotiation activities or your travels. You may do this, but be very well prepared, because this can create some tense energies a bit. Yeah, otherwise you will find comfort at home, at work. The week is okay. The week will be lucky for you. Also on Sunday, the Jupiter is entering your 5th house, and this will be already better for your children. Then I will say that you should not be that very much attentive towards your children, as I was repeating for quite some time. Now, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury are still on your 4th house, which is good for your home. If you're working at home, this will be very blessing. This will also give good energies for your career, for work. So the week is good. Still, this week, be attentive towards children, communication with children, watch for their behavior. The week is good for those creative studies or studies of the occult or of secret studies of ancient histories. So this will be wonderful. So this was about Leo rising, and now we're looking at Virgo rising. Mars is Virgo rising. Mars is still on your ascendant, and it's about to leave, but still it is on your ascendant in his own Martian term. And Mars there in his own term is having some kinds of dignities, so he's quite powerful. Therefore, I will say be a bit cautious when you're driving, when you're traveling. Try not to be very impulsive, very much reactive when it comes to relationship with others. Just stay away from risky situations this week. The sun is in a placement which can be positive for your finances. Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter also creating quite interesting aspect in relationship with relationship with people abroad, communication abroad, or yes, the week for you can be good for negotiations and travel, but with very much of attention because of Mars on your ascendant, who is leaving. So the week is not appropriate for new beginnings. It is not appropriate for starting anything new. It's more for um, maintaining the routine environment, maintaining good communication with people, and trying not to be very impulsive, not to be very reactive towards what others may say. Stay away from risky situations. But again, the good thing is that Mars, Jupiter are watching towards your ascendant, watching towards your descendant. So I think that you'll be on the safe side, but still, it is also up to you to avoid any risks. Saturn is still, of course, on your fourth house, which would say be uh, cautious and diplomatic when it comes to work, relationships with subordinates, and also be loving and patient at home. And yes, the week is not appropriate for new beginnings. It's more for maintaining the routine cautiously with diplomacy. So this was about Virgo, and now we will be looking at Libra ascendant. Libra ascendant, the sun is on your ascendant. Detriment, but still the sun cannot really be detriment, just his energies are changing. And on your ascendant, especially when the week is starting with the sun in the star of Gemma, very creative, very beautiful star of creativity, creative actions, creative deeds. So this is actually very good. The week, because of the placement of your ascendant ruler and Jupiter and Mercury, the week can be very good financially for you. The week is not appropriate to travel, not very appropriate to negotiate or for new beginnings, but it's very good to maintain your financial activities, financial business. You have this energy. So I think that the week will be good. Just be careful when traveling and when negotiating, and new beginnings not better. Concentrate on the routine, on the everyday routine, business and money making, rather than starting new initiatives this week. So this was very short, but for Libra, the week looks quite okay to me. So let's look at Scorpio ascendant. For you, Scorpio, Jupiter is still last days on your ascendant, together with Venus, who is detriment on your ascendant, but she is giving you the blessing, being on your ascendant together with Mercury, Venus, Jupiter on your ascendant. This is beautiful conjunction, very lucky. This conjunction will keep you safe, will give you blessing, will give you creative moods, will give you luck, will give you opportunities. With this, the week is very good for finances, financial opportunities. Also because Mars, your ascendant ruler, is still creating a harmonious aspect towards the ascendant. So financially, I see the week as good, as very what was the word, very very well in terms of organizing your business, your finances. So all planets are concentrated towards your ascendant. They're even around your ascendant. So with this, the emphasis is on you, your actions, and you will probably desire to do a lot this week. And I will tell you, do a lot to maintain the routine, to do your finances, to maintain your business, plans, projects. But really, the week is not, even though the moon is waxing, growing, the week is not really very appropriate for new beginnings. The week is good to travel and negotiate for you, but not so much because you may have these desires and energies, not so much for new beginnings. You can, though, do very good with your current plans, with your current finances, with your current business, studies, but new initiatives, new communication, new negotiations, I would rather avoid until we see. Maybe the next week will be better. So this was for Scorpio Ascendant, and now we'll be looking at Sagittarius Ascendant. Sagittarius Ascendant. Now for you, Saturn, not so much is changed, but at least the good thing is that this very tense square, very disharmonious square between Mars and Saturn is already past, so it is away, and it must have been last week must have been a bit tense, a bit disharmonious for you. But now Mars is still squaring Saturn and Pluto, but from some, the aspect is not that tight, it's not that exact like it was. However, still it's good to be diplomatic when communicating with subordinates. Could be that you're still experiencing some environment which is a bit hostile and not very, very harmonious. The good thing is that on Sunday, Jupiter will enter your ascendant. But yes, you need to wait for 1 week. And on Sunday, Jupiter will enter your ascendant to bring some light and blessing and beauty and everything like a relief. So up until Sunday, be a bit cautious still. Be patient in your private life, be diplomatic with superiors, and health-wise the week looks better to me. The week looks okay. The week is not appropriate for new beginnings, communication and travel, but on Sunday the things may change, will change, and you'll feel a little bit more relief. You feel better in any sense because Jupiter will bring this light and blessing into your life. And yes, the good thing is that the tension, the difficult aspect between Mars and Saturn, the two malefics, is already away. So if you went through a difficult week, now you should be already feeling that the energy is a little bit like falling apart, and your fresh new beginning is coming with the help of Jupiter on Sunday. So this was about Sagittarius, and now we're looking into Capricorn Ascendant. Your ascendant ruler, we know, is in the 12th house, but you will receive the harmonious aspect of Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter from your 11th house. And this is good in general for your social environment, for your plans, for your relationship with people, financially. So this is something good that is happening, and you may feel much, much better because in general, Saturn in the 12th house is not very... it puts people a little bit to desire not to be very communicative, or to choose to self-isolation a bit. Could be that also this is creating some disharmonious moments related to your health. But this is quite nice. Jupiter, Venus, and Mercury all together on your 11th house, quite good for relationship and communication with children, quite good for your social environment, for finances. This is fine. In relation to work, there could be some creative things happening and interesting and nice in your work environment. The week can be fine to travel and negotiate, but only if you're maintaining the routine, not so much for new beginnings. However, I see this as a much better week for you, also because the aspect which was exact last week and quite tense between Mars and Saturn is falling apart, and now Mars is really almost leaving the sign of Virgo, and with this he's not putting you in danger. So indeed this week is more harmonious and will bring you more joy than the week before. So this was about Capricorn, and now we're looking at Aquarius Ascendant. So with you, Very nicely, Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter are creating aspect towards your ascendant, and this is blessing aspect of creativity, of opportunities at work, plans, good relationship with subordinates, possibly. Your ascendant ruler is creating harmonious aspect towards your ascendant. This is fine. I see the week as fine financially, especially fine it will be when Jupiter enters your 11th house, but this will be on Sunday, so you may need to be still a little bit patient until Sunday, until Jupiter enters your 11th house, where he will be creating a lot of opportunities in your social sphere, financially, and then also will be much easier when it comes to children. I often I've been repeating, be attentive, be careful with children, because Saturn and Pluto and Ketu, this is quite something on your 11th house. So still also this week be cautious, but on Sunday Jupiter is entering your 11th house to create some good, much better environment and opportunities also in relation to children, social environment, gains, money. So this is fine. You may negotiate, you may travel, new beginnings are not very appropriate this week. Just maintain the routine environment for good, and the week will be quite fine. So this is for Aquarius. And now we will be looking at Pisces rising, Pisces ascendant. Now, very interesting thing is happening with Pisces ascendant, because your ascendant ruler, Jupiter, of course, on Sunday, so 6 days to go, but on Sunday will enter his own sign, Sagittarius, and Jupiter, your ascendant ruler, is becoming very strong, and this is very good for you. Will be aspecting your ascendant, will be in the sign related to your work, job, finances, your plans. So in this sense, this will be quite good, really quite good. At the very same moment, you will be having Mercury and Venus on your ninth house. Wonderful for communication with people abroad, wonderful for travel, wonderful for your studies, your philosophical knowledge, value systems. Oh, this is wonderful. The only thing is, until Jupiter enters your 10th house, you still will need for this another last 6 days to be diplomatic, cautious, patient with superiors, with communicating with people at work. That is where a little bit the tension still exists, but it's almost over. And also be cautious and yes, with your health, but it is almost over, and you will be very well. Still, let's not forget that Mars is on your descendant, and be patient and loving with partners, with your romantic partner, in general with partners. The week is not appropriate for new beginnings, but is very appropriate to maintain your routine environment at work, studies, travel. Oh, this is possible, but not when you're initiating new things, like doing what it will be related to things that you already started, actively maintaining the business, maintaining the studies, or sharing your knowledge with others. So this will be wonderful. So this is about Pisces ascendants. The timestamps for each of the 12 ascendants you will find under this video. Thank you for your attention. Your comments are welcome. If you want to study astrology with us, you can see the links under this video. So thank you for your attention.